Welcome everyone, and thank you for tuning in to hear my trading and market updates. This is Uncle Frank, and I'm not a financial advisor, nor is any of the content to be construed as financial advice. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. Please remember to hit the like button if you enjoyed the presentation, and be sure to subscribe to the channel so you're alerted when I have new information to share. So now let's get into the latest updates. Hey, welcome back everyone. So Wednesday we had a hot CPI and then a sell-off. Bond yields soared. Then we got a less hot PPI and there was a big tech rally led by the Mag 7. Gold climbed to another record high after the latest PPI report calmed the markets a day after the hot CPI reading cooled bets on a Fed Reserve rate cut, right? So that's where we're at. Let's look around to see if we can get a hint where we're going. So what are our enemies up to? Well, this piece from yesterday shed some light. Goldman Sachs on the largest selling of stocks by hedge funds in 3 months, short sales. Via Goldman Sachs, information that hedge funds sold stocks at the fastest pace in 3 months last week. The data cited comes from Goldman Sachs Prime Brokerage, adding hedge funds sold global stocks on a net basis. That was a second consecutive week, largest selling since the middle of January 2024, driven almost entirely by short sales. So why do I follow hedge fund headlines more than I follow AMC headlines? Because most of the headlines on AMC are hit pieces, and followers of this channel know I believe the only path to victory for the AMC shareholders is a black or white swan, a sudden event that will negatively impact our enemies, forcing the prime banks and brokers to turn against them and forcing the hedgies to rebalance their portfolios. A nice way of saying margin calls. The reason I love Goldman's report on the previous slide is it produces more headlines like this one from yesterday. MicroStrategy leads crypto sector short losses with $2 billion hit since March. Short sellers betting against MicroStrategy have lost $1.92 billion since March, according to data from S3 Partners, highlighting the hit from a rally that has helped the stock outperform Bitcoin. Traders betting against crypto exchange Coinbase and Bitcoin miner CleanSpark also lost $593 million and $106 million respectively, the data showed. MicroStrategy held 190,000 Bitcoin on its balance sheet as of the end of 2023 and has indicated it would continue increasing its exposure. It sold convertible debt twice within a week last month to raise money to buy more Bitcoin. You see, Uncle Frank lives for these kind of articles because I believe our enemies will never completely cover their positions against us unless they're forced to. Although I believe many shorts have covered thanks to Adam's dilution campaign at record low stock prices, and some have even flipped and shifted to more bullish options positions, there still may be an outrageous short against AMC, and I'll give my reasons. AMC closed at 280, down 3 cents or 1.06%, but not before setting another 52-week low of 273. Uncle Frank was nibbling again today with my best fill at 275. So why am I buying? Well, before I tell you, I have to say I will never tell you to buy, sell, or hold any security or cryptocurrency. This is not financial advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But number one, I decided that I was going to stick with this play and see it through to the end. Number two, I believe the stock is being artificially pushed down, and I believe it's worth much more than 28 cents on a pre-split basis. Number three, since I decided to stick with the trade, new 52-week lows offers me an opportunity to average down. I know the data is flawed, but short interest is up. Cost to borrow is moving up. The first quarter is behind us, and box office estimates have been revised higher. Fails to deliver spiked wildly on March 12th. Total short volume certainly is higher. Dark pool volume is over 62% today. The hit pieces have never been so brazenly lopsided. Adam Aaron said bankruptcy is off the table, and I should hope so, with $842 million in checking. Maybe our position in Hycroft will pay off if gold keeps setting record highs. I never rooted against that. I just didn't like investing in a bankrupt company to bail out short sellers of our stock when we were over $5 billion in debt ourselves. Hycroft is up 24.89% today, and at the time of this recording is up another 5% after hours. Days to cover is elevated. Utilization is at 89.33%, and the Ortex short score is almost 75 out of 100. The stock could keep dropping, and maybe they could try to reverse split the stock. I certainly hope not. I'm trying to remember the market doesn't care how much I'm down, what I need to break even, whether there'll be a short squeeze or not, or if I want a Lambo. All that matters is where we are now and where we can go from here. And speaking only for myself, I see some upside from here, especially if there's a swan. In late January, the director of the FBI warned that Chinese hackers were preparing to wreak havoc on the U.S. critical infrastructure. Then today he said a lone wolf or small groups could draw twisted inspiration from recent events in the Middle East and Russia. Whatever the case, something has the FBI spooked, and we should pay attention, because if this chatter persists, it could also spook the markets. Gary Gensler continues to terrorize the crypto space while ignoring rampant corruption on Wall Street. From MarketWatch, Uniswap says it has received SEC Wells notice with charges imminent. Uniswap Labs has received a notice from the SEC that it could soon be charged with violating federal securities laws, its CEO Hayden Adams said in a post on Twitter Wednesday. Hey Gary, I've got some questions for Uniswap too, especially those 8 quadrillion AMC tokens over there. While the SEC attacks Uniswap, I'm confident the small army of AMC YouTubers will be very loud in asking about tokenized AMC trading over at Uniswap. Well, it would appear the same guys that have an employee running our board of directors at AMC are back in the press again and seem to be back in trouble again. Morgan Stanley's wealth management arm is being probed by multiple regulators, the Wall Street Journal reported on Thursday, citing people familiar with the matter. The SEC, the OCC, and other Treasury Department offices are involved. The bank's shares fell 4.8% in late afternoon trading. Regulators are assessing whether the bank has sufficiently investigated the identities of prospective clients, the sources of their wealth, and how it monitors their financial activity. Some of the probes are focusing on international clients. Morgan Stanley declined to comment. Spokespeople for the SEC, the OCC, and the Treasury did not immediately respond to Reuters' request for comment. Morgan Stanley's wealth management unit caters to high net worth individuals and small to medium-sized businesses, providing them with brokerage, custody, investment advisory, and financial planning services. The wealth business generates steadier income compared with investment banking, which is closely tied to economic cycles. Revenues from wealth management have helped Morgan Stanley expand its market cap beyond rival Goldman Sachs. And we all know who used to be a partner at Goldman Sachs, Little Goober Gensler. And from Forbes, the real reason for Disney's $11 billion streaming losses. So Disney loses $11 billion on streaming, but the theaters are dead, right? Okay, if Wall Street is happy with those results, I'm happy for them. But in the meantime, Godzilla Minus One stomps its way onto Japan's all-time box office charts. And from Collider, Dune 2 global box office destroys another milestone. How many hundreds of headlines have we seen like this since the pandemic. It's headlines like these that remind me our beaten down theater stock has less to worry about than Wall Street does. From Markets Insider. This is all from today, by the way. The Fed may have no choice but to tip the U.S. into recession, economist says. And then from investing.com, B of A pushes back start of rate cutting cycle to December. And from the Wall Street Journal, Fed rate cuts are now a matter of if, not just when. And from Deadline, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes eyes $54 to $61 million U.S. opening, box office early look. Now, one event for tomorrow I will enjoy is big bank earnings, especially forward guidance. Let's hope Citi has another humiliating earnings experience. Big banks to kick off earnings seasons. JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, and Citigroup release Q1 results on Friday. Their performance is not expected to dazzle. AMC's institutional holding chart may not look as good as Cinemark's, but I have to say, institutional investors increased holdings by 97.2% last quarter based on disclosures of 212 investors. I guess the biggest reason I think AMC is severely undervalued here is our market cap is below our quarterly revenue of $1.1 billion. That's Q4, which was up 11.45% year over year. Plus, our market cap is below our cash reserves of $884.3 million. What is our market cap, you ask? Well, it depends who you ask. Webull says $738 million. MarketWatch says $746 million. Yahoo says $737 million. CNBC says $592 million. Well, I think you're all full of shit. I think this float is so jacked up on this stock, they don't know their ass from their elbows. I'm a buyer here. Hey, I want to thank you for watching, and please remember to hit the like button after this slide if you enjoyed the presentation. Subscribe to the channel and set the alert so you're notified when I have new information to share. See you at the bell.